and I represent the pillar of health. I'm an obstetrician gynecologist, and yes, I'm still a practicing physician. Each and every Wednesday, I'm on call at the hospital. So, yes, I'm still doing hysterectomies and C-sections, and I've transitioned my gynae surgery more to cosmetic surgery. So, I do some liposuctions and tummy tucks. 3 years ago, I was introduced to the cannabis industry by our very own CEO, Melissa Boston. So I truly probably understand how you're wondering how an OB-GYN got into the cannabis and CBD space. Well, I was and always have been one of those physicians that welcome holistic, organic, natural options, not only for my patients, but for myself, for my family. And so when I was introduced to CBD, and we're going to talk about CBD and what it is and what it stands for and how it works and what it works for, I was sold. I was sold because so many patients are looking for holistic options to address challenges in their life. And so tonight we're going to talk about dementia or Alzheimer's disease. I was getting a lot of requests from my business partners, you guys out there, and I welcome requests. When you want to hear about different topics, you can email me. I'll give you my email at the end. But many of us on the line, I'm sure, know someone that has this very debilitating disease, or maybe you know someone that has passed away and had Alzheimer's disease. It's an irreversible, progressive brain disorder that slowly destroys memory and thinking skills and eventually the ability to carry out simple tasks. So, on the right side, you see a healthy brain, and you see a brain that has been affected by severe Alzheimer's disease. And each and every week, I always remind all of you that when we think about chronic illnesses and diseases, the common denominator is inflammation. Inflammation is the culprit of arthritis, heart disease, diabetes, um, obesity, and even Alzheimer's. It's a combination of inflammatory cells that are found in the brain. So, why does dementia make you lose your memory? Well, memory and emotions are found in the hippocampus. That's a part of the brain that regulates and modulates memory and our emotions. And that's a part of the brain that is affected in those who have dementia. In fact, every 65 seconds, someone in the United States develops this horrible disease. We see 5.8 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's disease. In fact, they're thinking and projecting by 2050, the number is going to rise to 14 million people. So, this is a really important topic that we really need to pay attention to so that we can help those to catch it early, and maybe even talk about prevention. Well, 1 in 10 people aged 65 and older have dementia. That's about 10%. We know that 67% or more of Americans with Alzheimer's are women. Yeah, women have a higher prevalence and incidence of Alzheimer's more than men. It is also the sixth leading cause of death in the United States. We know that heart disease is number one, cancer is number two, chronic lower respiratory disease is number three, strokes number four, accidents number five, but Alzheimer's disease is now ranked the sixth leading cause of death. In fact, between the years of 2000 and 2017, We saw that heart disease actually decreased by 9%, and Alzheimer's disease increased to 145%. So 1 in 3 seniors dies with Alzheimer's disease or some other dementia. It kills more seniors than breast cancer and prostate cancer combined. So it's a real problem. Well, how do you diagnose Alzheimer's? Well, most of the time, it's family members, family seeing an older parent or grandparent or aunt or uncle have problems with their daily activities and their behavior and their personality. Another way to diagnose Alzheimer's is through what we call mini mental status examinations. There's certain medical tests that can be done, like blood and urine tests. And then there's x-rays or PET scans that can be performed on the brain to see areas of abnormalities or inflammation. There's also a new blood test. They're seeing that there's a test now that is close to 94% being accurate in diagnosing Alzheimer's disease. Many times our loved ones are misdiagnosed. Maybe there's a diagnosis that could be a stroke or depression. So, this blood test is now helping us in the medical field to be a lot more accurate when we're making this diagnosis. So, it's looking at certain proteins. We talk about inflammation in the brain, amyloid plaques that are inflamed. There's other tests that uses liquid chromatography in the central nervous system or the cerebral spinal fluid around the brain. So these are some new things that are out in the horizon. But what's really sad is that only 16% of seniors receive regular cognitive assessment when they go for their routine checkups. And that's why it's always good for you to go with your senior or your elderly parent or grandparent or aunt or uncle for their yearly exams to ensure that the physician is doing a cognitive assessment of your loved ones during their checkups. Well, let's look at the prevalence. Um, it is known that African Americans are about twice as likely to have Alzheimer's or other dementias than older whites. In fact, Hispanics are about 1.5 times as likely to have Alzheimer's or other dementias than older whites. There are two types of Alzheimer's disease. There's an early onset or a familiar Alzheimer's disease. I have a friend that I went to high school with that was diagnosed with Alzheimer's in her late 40s, early 50s. And then there's a late onset. Now, when we look at early versus late, there's a lot of research that shows that early, developing before the age of 65, is typically associated with some sort of genetic mutation, some sort of genetic dysfunction that a person is born with. The late onset can be genetic, but typically it's due to lifestyle, diet, or environmental stresses. So, again, early onset dementia can occur in folks who are younger than 65, and typically it's due to either a genetic disposition or dysfunction or abnormality. It can also be due to a head injury. Many times, early dementia is triggered by a head injury as well. Let's look at late onset. Late onset dementia, their thinking has a lot to do with your diet, lack of exercise. A lot of my colleagues that when I came out as a young physician, attending physician, a lot of my colleagues that were 20 years my senior have dementia. And a lot of them, I'm friends with their children, and I asked them, what sort of life did they live when they were a younger doctor? And many of them had some things in common. And those were a poor diet, lack of exercise, and sleep deprivation. That's why Dr. Rita gets her sleep. You guys may think I don't sleep, but I get 7 to 9 hours of sleep because all of these environmental insults, along with maybe having other medical comorbidities like diabetes and hypertension, we see that these people are at increased risk of developing late onset Alzheimer's disease. So, in summary, early onset is typically before the age of 65. You can see it in young people in their 40s and 50s. It's typically related to a genetic abnormality. And then late onset, of course, are those people over the age of 65. And it's typically due to diet, environmental stresses, lack of sleep, and a combination of those things. Chronic over years insults to the brain. Alcohol use, that's why I don't drink a lot of alcohol, even socially, right? Because alcohol is a neurotoxic chemical that kills your brain cells, and we all want to maintain healthy brain cells. Well, there are 7 stages of Alzheimer's disease. It's a continuum where you see initially no impairment, the person looks normal, they are mentally and physically active. And then we start to see very mild decline where you see that loved one starting to experience some forgetfulness. Then it moves on to a mild decline where you notice a decline and change in their function from moderate to moderately severe to severe and very severe. Very severe, meaning that there's a loss in ability to respond, communicate. Many times, mobility is affected, and they need total assistance from loved ones. Again, mild, moderate to severe can be something that occurs over 2 to 7 years. It can take a progressively long time. It's also known that if you can catch dementia when it's mild and in its early forms, you can really stop the active progression. But we know that as it gets more severe, what we find is that there are different areas in the brain that are affected. And so that's why you go from a mild cognitive impairment, meaning that you have some forgetfulness, all the way to severe, where it starts to affect their person's ability to walk, their ability to talk. It starts to progress and to injure very many parts of the brain, as you see here. So, what's the goal? Our goal is to really catch Alzheimer's early, to maintain mental function in our loved ones, to help to manage their behavioral symptoms, because in this disease, they become very irritable, agitated, because they're frustrated. They understand that something is happening where they can't remember. They get confused and scared because they don't know where they are. And to really, number 3, to slow down the symptoms of this disease. This disease, again, can be very quick in progression, or over time, many years, can be slow. So these are some of the medications that we use for Alzheimer's dementia. If you know someone or have a family member, Aricept is one of the common cholinesterase inhibitors. Another medication is called memantine. Memantine is, through the data and the research and just the clinical findings, is really the only medication that seems to help these patients. There's a lot of side effects with these drugs. Not only are they very expensive, but they cause and carry a lot of nasty side effects. Abdominal cramping, bruising, even more confusion, constipation, diarrhea, insomnia, muscle cramps, nausea, vomiting, fatigue, and weight loss. So many of these medications cause more side effects and symptoms than the disease itself. So again, memantine is really the most effective medication that we're seeing. And this is a medication that is really reserved for those who have severe dementia. So let's look at CBD. Let's look at CBD and assisting with some of the symptoms of dementia. Again, dementia, you see a lot of memory loss, you see a lot of mood alterations, irritability, anger, confusion, and insomnia. So CBD is an abbreviation for cannabidiol. See, cannabidiol comes from the cannabis plant, and it comes from the species of the cannabis plant called hemp. That's the part of the plant that gives you the health without the high. So, unlike THC, that's the part that we see that comes mostly from marijuana and very little from the hemp species. THC gives you the high, it gives you the euphoria, it gives you the paranoia. But what I love about CBD is that we can assist those who have symptoms due to dementia and give them that relief and help them with their sleep and help them to be less irritable and agitated without having that psychoactive component that marijuana would give. So let's look at the other compounds and cannabinoids that the plant makes. Here is what we call our cannabinoid wheel. We know now there's over 100 and maybe 20 compounds that the cannabis plant makes. But it's really CBD that is the hero in this plant. See, CBD has many, many medicinal benefits, from being an anti-inflammatory, and that's important in dementia because remember, I talked about the inflammation in the brain, those amyloid plaques that start to build up and destroy the brain matter that modulate and activate and responsible for memory, for mood. That's the hippocampus part of the brain. CBD also helps to be a very powerful antioxidant. When you hear that word antioxidant, you should always think of oxidative stress. So dementia is another chronic illness that has a lot of free radicals in the body, in the brain, that's causing stress and causes breakdown in the body. So it's an antioxidant, it's an anti inflammatory. And CBD is an anti anxiolytic. So it helps to reduce anxiety, it helps with sleep. So all of these factors are really important when we're looking to help those who have dementia. We're looking to help to improve the quality of life. We can't say that CBD is going to cure Alzheimer's dementia, but what we can say is that CBD has a lot of qualities that help to reduce the symptoms that those who suffer from dementia have. And then there's other cannabinoids like CBG and CBC and Delta 9 THC and Delta 8 THC. We've got a new product coming out that's Delta 8 THC. And all of these compounds, when we put them together in a full spectrum product, we'll talk about our power full spectrum product. The synergy really is what helps to give a profound result on the body. And so when we think about how these compounds work in the body, it's science. It's not magical. It's not a snake oil. It's not a magical potion, but there's real science behind how CBD and the other compounds that the cannabis plant makes works in our body. That science is called the human endocannabinoid system. And this system we all possess. If you have a spinal cord, you have an endocannabinoid system. If you're on the webinar, you have an endocannabinoid system. And that's why everybody, everybody, if you have dementia or you don't have dementia, you need CBD because this system becomes deficient. It becomes deficient because of the stress, the food we eat, the water we drink, the air we breathe, the sleep deprivation that many of us encounter. And so this system keeps our body in balance or homeostasis. The system is made up of receptors that are looking for CBD, that are looking for THC, to bind in the body, to bind in the brain, to bind in every single organ in our body to reduce inflammation, to help us to manage sleep, to manage anxiety, to manage the irritability and mood disorders that we see in those who have dementia. So that's how CBD works. That's how our product works through a science called the endocannabinoid system. And then there's over 20,000 peer review articles. There are articles that show how CBD improves the cognitive function, the memory function in uh, in this article or this abstract or this study was done actually in mice. It shows how their reduction in inflammation in the neurons in the brain. It reduces inflammation. It's an antioxidative. It's neuroprotective. These are all scientific words, but these are very important words that you should understand as to why CBD is so helpful in this disease. This is another study. Now, this study was done in Geneva, in Switzerland, but this study was done on humans. And it shows that those humans and seniors that took CBD and some extracts of CBD with THC actually had improvement and even long term improvement 5 months after they stopped taking CBD in their memory. So, this was a very, very profound study as well. So let's talk about our products. These are products that I want you to now use in those who have Alzheimer's. You may know someone, you may have someone that you know they may have early signs, and that's the best time to catch it. But absolutely, if they have severe dementia, we can help them to have a better quality of life. The FDA does not allow us to make claims. I can't stress that enough. We're not making claims that CBD cures, mitigates. If you're pregnant, if you're nursing, if you're on medication, let your physician know prior to taking any cannabis products. Now, there's a lot of CBD products out there. Absolutely, we all know that because if you go and get gas, 9 times out of 10, you may see some CBD gummies at the gas station. Now, they're not Wakana gummies, but there's some brand that I see a lot in video stores and gas stations and smoke shops. But what makes our products unique here at Wakana and our products you can trust are that we provide some of the most rich medicinal hemp that's fully compliant with the State Department of Agriculture regulations. What that means is that our products are sourced from farms in Kentucky, Colorado, and Oregon that are organically grown. Our products are industrial hemp registered, and our products are Farm Bill compliant. In 2018, a Farm Bill was passed by President Trump that now allows hemp, which was a Scheduled 1 drug, to be cultivated, to be consumed and sold in all 50 states. We also offer certificates of analysis on our products. Our products are products that have been tested to ensure that there are no mold, mildew, heavy metals, pesticides, residual solvents in our products. These are things you don't want in your CBD product. Our certificates of analysis also allows you to see that their legal limit of THC is there. The legal limit of THC in the United States is 0.3% or less. It also allows you to see milligram for milligram. So what's on the label should match within a 10% variance of what's on our certificate of analysis. We provide a full panel certificate of analysis. They're really easy and simple to read as well. So, how do you take CBD? Well, CBD is a tincture or an oil that is placed underneath the tongue. Now, it's really important that when you're using CBD in an early onset dementia patient, or maybe you're on the line and you're a senior and you really want to get ahead of the game, well, absolutely, as a preventative measures, you place the CBD oil underneath the tongue and you hold it for a minute before you swallow. This is really important because you want the product to be absorbed adequately in the bloodstream. It's important not to eat or drink or smoke for at least 15 minutes after you are placing the oil underneath your tongue for optimal absorption. So we have tinctures that range in different milligrams. Now, when we're dealing with someone that has more of a mild to moderate or even severe case, we have different products that I'm going to recommend. Our Hempranium MD is our more potent tincture. It's 750 milligrams in a 15 ml bottle. And again, it is a product that you want to start low and slow. You always want to start with 3 drops in the morning and 3 drops in the evening. That's a dose that's going to give you anywhere between 10 and 30 milligrams of CBD with all of our products. Starting low and slow prevents any minor side effects. Minor side effects from CBD can be excessive drowsiness, maybe nausea, maybe a headache. So by starting low and slow, you can prevent that from happening. Now, if you notice that your loved one may still have some agitation or some irritability or maybe difficulty sleeping, then you can increase that to 8 drops twice a day. Maximum dose is 15 drops a day for this particular product. Our next product is our Hempranium 500 milligrams. 500 milligrams is more of a mild to moderate amount. This particular product has a proprietary formula where we've enhanced the CBD with black seed, with turmeric and peppermint, adding additional antioxidative and anti-inflammatory properties to the CBD. Again, starting low and slow is the best way to avoid any minor side effects. 3 drops in the morning, 3 drops in the evening underneath the tongue. Then we have a product that you can bake and cook with. And what I love about the Power Culinary is that now we're getting into that severe demented patient, that patient that may not be able to hold anything under their tongue for a minute. This is a product you can bake and cook their food with, making sure, again, 3 drops in the morning, 3 drops in the evening, mixing it with their oatmeal or anything else that you may be cooking for that loved ones. You can always increase it. Maximum dose is 15 drops a day. We also have a product that is our broad spectrum. Our broad spectrum product are products that contain less than 0.0% of THC. Maybe you're dealing with a senior and a family that don't want their loved ones that have that legal limit of THC, which is 0.3%. Well, this would be a product for them because I'm sure they are not working, so they're not worried about passing a drug screen at that point. So our pure product has a special delivery system. It's called nanotechnology. And nanotechnology allows the CBD molecule to become more available to the cells. It's called bioavailability. Its bioavailability is 98.7%, which means that it's more available to the cells because it's so small. It's a nanometer. This is a 300 milligram tincture. You place it underneath the tongue. Again, 3 drops in the morning, 3 drops in the evening is a great way to start. And then we have a power water soluble product. This is my favorite product for that senior absolutely cannot hold an oil underneath their tongue. What you're going to do with this product is that you're going to use this product and put in their water, in their tea, in their food, whatever they're eating or drinking. Power water soluble is the product for that severely demented patient or family member or loved one. Again, 3 drops in the morning, 3 drops in the evening is a best starting dose. This product should be kept in a refrigerator. You want to refrigerate this one. You want to make sure you're shaking it really good before you're mixing it in their food or their beverage. Now, our gummies are something else that you're going to want to use with dementia. Why? Because this is a great product that you're going to use, an edible product that you can use throughout the day, or you can use it at night to help them sleep. Our power gummy is 25 milligrams per gummy. Our gummies are infused, they're not coated. That means that they're much more potent because the CBD is throughout the entire gummy. And I recommend that you start with half a gummy at night with that senior that has dementia. Our pure gummies are 60 milligrams of CBD. Again, if you have a family that you're dealing with that wants their loved ones to use our CBD product but doesn't want that THC, that 0.3% or less of THC, then the pure or the white label products are the products you're going to use. Now, let's move on to our topical products. And this is going to be really great little nuggets that many of you may not know. Many of you may not know that there is an increased incidence of dementia in patients who have rheumatoid arthritis and osteoarthritis. Why? It's a combination of one, inflammation. We talked about inflammation. Inflammation is a culprit in a lot of chronic illnesses. So the inflammation is throughout the body, not only in the joints, but in the brain. And then there's the treatment for rheumatoid arthritis and osteoarthritis. The treatment studies have shown, I'm going to show you a study where the medication, the side effect of medications that we use in medicine to treat arthritis causes dementia. So this is why I recommend having the topical pain relief cream or our Dr. Rita's rub for these patients because many of them have arthritis, right? So this is our topical pain cream, 400 milligrams. What I love about this cream is that it's enhanced with essential oils like peppermint, spearmint, black seed, eucalyptus, sweet basil, turmeric, arnica, and clove in combination with the CBD to help to reduce inflammation. So what you want to do is you want to rub down that senior. You want to rub them down in the morning after their bath. You want to rub them down at night so that they can be comfortable when they're sleeping. We have another product that's 500 milligrams of CBD. This one has about 6 essential oils that address inflammation. You want to rub down their shoulders, their back, their knees. You know how they can be so uncomfortable during the day at night. This is a great product, as well as our Dr. Rita's rub. This is 200 milligrams of CBD, but this is enhanced with about 19 to 20 essential oils. It's in a liquid form. So this is an oil. Again, you want to rub down that senior in the morning and at night in areas that cause a lot of discomfort because of inflammation. This is the article that I talked about. There's a direct link between rheumatoid arthritis and dementia. A lot of the link is one, because of the inflammation that is occurring, and two, because a lot of the medications that we use causes dementia. Direct link. So you want to have those topical products around. And then we have our smokable products. Our smokable products are our vape oil cartridge. Our cartridges are not like cartridges that you've heard about that caused a lot of deaths last year, right? Those are cartridges where they found, the FDA found that they were filling those cartridges with a lot of bad things like fentanyl, other narcotics, rat poison. I mean, there were a lot of bad fillers, but the FDA found what they were using as a carrier oil was vitamin E. When you heat up vitamin E, it is toxic to the lungs. So that's why you saw so many folks, unfortunately, dying from these vape pens and these vape cartridges because of vitamin E. Our products contain, of course, organic CBD. We don't use vitamin E as a filler. We don't use any filler. We use our carrier oil, which is called MCT coconut oil and hemp seed oil. We also have Diamond Life pre-rolls, CBD joints. Yeah, these smokables can be used in those seniors that have early onset or early dementia or very, very mild dementia. You may have a senior that still likes to smoke. You want to get them off of cigarettes, and you want to help them in their quality of life, in their mood, in their anxiety, and all those things that we talked about that those that have dementia have. You can use a pre-roll. They can do a 1 to 3 pulls, maybe 3 times a day. They don't need to smoke the entire pre-roll. They don't need to smoke the entire cartridge. But when they need that acute fast relief, we recommend our smokables. We even have premium flower that they can vape. We have these vape pens that you can go online. You can buy one through Amazon called a UCAN. You can put that flower in that vape pen, and they can vape the premium flower that we recommend. And then there's seasonings. You know, you're cooking for these seniors. You can infuse anything that they're eating with our seasonings. We have our chili lime, we have our flavor king, and our garlic fire. These are amazing products that are infused and loaded with CBD, that will also enhance and to improve the symptoms that we're seeing in our loved ones that have dementia. Body mango cream, right? Seniors need this as well. Our Power Mango Body Cream helps to relieve their skin. It can help to manage and relieve and relax them at night. So as you're rubbing in that Dr. Rita's rub or the Power Relief, you can take some of the cream and mix it with it. It's just a great thing for anti-aging as well. Some of these seniors are still having sex. I mean, they just are. They may have dementia, but they may still be active. So, our CBD sexual enhancement lube will allow those seniors who have, especially the women who have vaginal dryness due to being postmenopausal. This is used topically. And again, this should not be excluded from someone that has early dementia. So, again, I just want to emphasize the products that we talked about can be all used in those who have dementia, specifically early onset or early signs. But these are definitely ones that you want to use in order tonight for those who have late dementia, those who cannot remember to hold an oil underneath their tongue. You want to get the power water soluble for those late cases. You absolutely want to give them, start out with a half of the gummies. You want to cook with our seasonings. It's just a great way to get CBD in them. They're not combative, they're not biting you. and then they relax and they're more calm and they're able to sleep. You want to again remember those topical products for them as well, because there's a direct link with arthritis and dementia. So we want to make sure that you rub them down at night, rub them down in the morning, make them feel very, very comfortable. So here is my email, ritamd@wakana.com. You can always email me any questions, any suggestions for our Wednesday night topic. I am going to take some questions now, but if you're a guest on the line, you want to make sure that you contact the person that invited you, because you're probably on the line because you know someone that has dementia, or maybe you're on the line as a guest and you are uh, over the age of 60 or 65, and you want to get these products in you to reduce inflammation, because again, it's inflammation not only in joints but inflammation in the brain that causes Alzheimer's, dementia. We want to reduce inflammation. So you want to reach out to the person that invited you so you can get these products ordered and you can get these amazing products in your system. So I'm going to take some questions. Oh, you know what? We're going to, Dr. Conti, you want to just, I'm going to have you come up to the stage and just let us know about how these products are helping your mom. Dr. Rashonda Conte is one of our members on our Wakana Medical Advisory Board. She's a clinical psychologist. Her specialty is in addiction medicine, but she has such a powerful, powerful testimony about her mom who has dementia and these products. Thank you, Dr. Conte.
Oh, sure, sure, Dr. Rita. This hearing you go through this touches so near and dear to me. So my mother was actually diagnosed with dementia 4 years ago. And it was a very devastating diagnosis. My sisters, they're 4 girls, and my dad, it was devastating. And I mean, my mother has always been a very independent woman, very strong woman, and to receive a diagnosis like this. And so when we talk about those tests, she had an MRI done. There were other tests that her doctors had completed, because we noticed that she just started forgetting things. And I think what took us over the top was when she was picking up my youngest son from school, and they called me and said that he was still there. And I called her, and she said, I somehow I just forgot where I was going. I don't understand what happened. And I'm thinking, okay, something's going on. So all of the testing was done, and it came back that she was on an early onset. Well, our doctor that she had been going to had given us a timeline of what we were going to see in regards to some of those symptoms that Dr. Rita talked about: the irritability, the anxiety, just being angry, very impulsive. All those things we started seeing a lot sooner than what her doctor previously told us was going to happen. And so that was very concerning for us, because we, obviously anyone would just assume at that point that these symptoms were progressing quickly if the timeline had speeded up. So had sped up. So we decided that we were going to figure out what we were going to do. I didn't know a lot about Alzheimer's. I didn't know a lot about dementia. I didn't know a lot about these things. And so the fact that we have Dr. Rita giving us this in detail information tonight is so awesome, because so many people don't know about it. We know what we hear about it. You may see a dab here and there on movies. You may see a few things in some literature, but not really know the in-depth details about what brings it on, what those symptoms are, until it really hits home. And it really hit home for us. And so I started looking into a few things and learned that CBD was an alternative option. When Dr. Rita had those medications up there, they actually put my mother on Exelon, and she was doing that in patches. So we would put the patches on her. You had to alternate either the right arm, the left part of the back, the right part of the back. And why? Because if you put the patch on the same place, it would create this burn on her skin. And we were thinking, well, if it's burning her skin, then, I mean, is that really helpful? But nevertheless, because we were quite honestly desperate to find something to help her, we did it. But we just tried to remember to alternate the sides. Well, a few times that didn't happen. And we noticed that in the places where the patches, because she was with me one day and I put it on the left side, and she went with my sister the next day and my sister put it on the left side, we started noticing that we would see these dark patches where her skin was literally burned. But again, being in such a desperate state, we thought, okay, just let us not forget to do that moving forward. But nevertheless, just let me speed this up. We decided that we were going to entertain the use of CBD. And I'm just so thankful that we did, because I started seeing articles that said that CBD would certainly help with some of those symptoms. And we started giving her the Wakana products. And as Dr. Rita talked about, those tinctures under the tongue, my mother had become so non-cooperative that we just knew that we were not going to be able to get her to put those tinctures under her tongue and hold them there for it to be knew that wasn't going to happen. In addition to that, we knew that even if she held it for that 30 to 60 seconds, she was not going to just say, well, I'm not going to drink anything for the next 30 minutes. So we just knew that was just not going to work. Well, the blessing was the water soluble. We knew that we could put that in anything that she was drinking, as Dr. Rita went through. You can put it in anything. So we started putting it in her juice. We would put it in her coffee. We would put it in her foods. We were using the seasonings, and the seasonings are amazing. They taste great, and she loved it. The gummies, her sweet tooth, that need for something sweet increased drastically. So to see that the gummy was sugar coated, she just thought it was a piece of candy. We would give that to her. We would give her the water solubles. And I'm telling you, we saw a drastic change in her. She was more calm. She was fun again. We could sit around and watch TV again and watch movies, where initially, you try to put on a movie, she wouldn't sit still. She became very agitated. She's thinking something's missing and all that. And again, those things aren't gone away, because the disease itself is not cured, but those symptoms make it so much more manageable and tolerable. And that's just the truth. And as a caregiver, because that's what we ended up having to become, it's sometimes it can wear you out. And so all of these things with her just have become so much more tolerable. And I wish I could show you guys this video that we just did with her for my birthday. My birthday was just a couple of weeks ago, and we had dinner. And my family came, and of course we were being safe, but nevertheless, I wish you could see the happiness, the joy, the dancing she did. Even in the video, she's telling us, don't steal her moves. I mean, all of this was my old mother. These were the things that we grew up with, her being fun and just having such an awesome personality. And that is what this product has done. It has helped her tremendously, and I just don't know what we would do without it. So much so, and I'll end with this. My sisters, again, there's 4 girls, and we all have my mother different days of the week. And I'm telling you right now, my sisters do not play. They make sure that everyone's home is stocked with water soluble and gummies. We do not play that. When they get low, they will call me and say, hey, let's get this order done, because we have got to make sure that we do not run out, because it has been that much of a pleasure. And even when her doctor notices a difference because of going to the doctor, and initially she would be irritated there, and her doctor now says, wow, what are you guys doing? And when I shared it with her, thinking that there may have been some level of scrutiny from her doctor did not. She said, absolutely, continue to do it. It's working. I've seen studies. We're researching this. It's constantly happening. And I know that CBD works on those symptoms. So don't stop what you're doing. Well, when I heard that, I'm thinking this is absolutely, well, I'm going to be honest. I was probably going to continue anyway, because I know what I saw with my own 2 eyes. I know what my sisters have been seeing. I know what everyone else has been seeing, and we were going to continue. But her doctor did give us the green light. And I'm telling you, it has been such a blessing. So for anyone listening, please give it a try. invite people, give them some information, share it with them, and let them know that there are alternative options. And again, as I shared, that Exelon patch burned her skin. So this CBD has just been amazing, and we're never, ever, ever going to stop. And I know my mother's going to be here for another 100 years. She's probably going to outlive me. And she's going to do that being happy and having some peace and not having that anxiety and that irritability and that frustration. I don't want her like that. I don't want her living her last days like that. And so this has just been an awesome, awesome blessing for me.
Wow. Oh my gosh. What a testimony. What
awesome.
a testimony. So awesome. And I love the fact that, you know, you are so open in sharing this. So many people need to hear this testimony. And so we want you all to share. We'll, you know, put the recording. You'll find it on the YouTube. Dr. Ross will make that available. But share this with all those that you love, because I'm telling you, it's a devastating disease. We can help with symptoms. And thank you so much, Dr. Conti.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions? I think there was a question about the topical, the difference between the 400 and the 500 milligram. The difference is that the 400 milligram actually has more essential oils. It has 8 essential oils. And the 500 milligrams has 6 essential oils. For me personally, I like using the 500 milligrams after my workout. At night, I use the 400 milligrams and rub myself down so that when I'm asleep, I don't have any soreness. And I use the Dr. Rita's rub before my workout. So I use all 3, but I use one post-workout, one at night when I'm sleeping, and the other one pre-workout. So those are the difference. The difference really is in the milligrams of CBD, and 2, the essential oils that are used to enhance those products. 2 are in a cream and 1 is in a liquid. They're all 3 amazing. This is something that you want your senior to have on board with dementia as well. Are there any other comments from our Wakana Medical Advisory Board? I see a lot of you are out there. Dr. Mitchell, Erica Zachary, Dr. Joyce Smith, Robin Tillman. Who else is there? And Dr. Rashonda Conti, which you heard from. If there are no comments, if there are no questions, you guys have been amazing. Please, if you're a guest on the line, please contact the person that invited you so you can get those products in your hands immediately. We want to invite each and every one of you next Wednesday. You're going to email me and let me know what topic you want to hear about next Wednesday. I'm open to discuss whatever you guys want to discuss. My email is ritamd@wakana.com.
Dr. Rita?
Yes.
I think there are 3 persons who have their hands raised, but I don't know if they haven't put their questions in the chat box.
Okay. I know one was about topicals. And then someone asked, did you see the study on green tea and COVID last night on WG?
Oh, okay.
Would think to combine the green tea and water drops would really be awesome for all. I think someone would like to combine green tea with our power water soluble. And yes, you absolutely can do that. Would be a great idea. Lots of folks are out there eating tacos tonight. Their chili lime. And then there's a question about what's the difference. Marguerite Wright, thank you. She is a massage therapist. She loves using the CBD topicals. And I think that was it.
That might be it.
Ah, wonderful. There's another question. Is there a problem with blood thinners? So CBD can interact with blood thinners, one being warfarin or Coumadin. So if you are currently on Coumadin, you want to let your physician know that you're using CBD, and they're going to monitor your INR a little bit more frequently. So it's not that you can't use CBD, but your doctor needs to know so that they can monitor that INR more frequently. Wonderful. Any other questions? Would like a discussion about how to educate our primary physicians. The only way you can educate your primary care physicians and specialists is to get them on a webinar, and you can share the recordings of these webinars. You got to will them in to listen. So yeah, invite them on Tuesday night, invite them on Wednesday night, and then Fatima, you can always share these recordings with them. Always, always. So there's a question about diabetes. She's a diabetic, 15 years. Um, Sounds like you have some neuropathy. Yeah, our products are amazing. Whenever you talk about diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, obesity, arthritis, those are all inflammatory disorders. So all of the products that I talked about as it relates to dementia would be applicable to diabetes. Our tinctures, our topicals, our gummies, our seasonings, all of those products, our vape cartridges, our smokables, absolutely. Well, that's it for me. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Conti, again for that
Absolutely.
powerful testimony. And I just can't wait to meet your mother one day.
Oh, you will. You will, you will, you will.
Wonderful. So thank you, everyone, for joining. Again, if you're a guest, contact the person that invited you. Thank you, Wakana Medical Advisory Board. You guys are always amazing, always showing up. And we will see you this time next week. Good night, everyone.
Good night.